Now, guys, the UK Secretary of Foreign Affairs, who's David Lammy, as he was speaking at the United Nations Security Council recently, at the ongoing United Nations, General Assembly of 79th, he made really some remarks, and in those remarks, which I consider very dangerous and controversial on the other side, needs attention. They need the attention of the African people. And so this is what we want to talk about today, the behavior of the black people, the behavior of Africans and the behavior of black people, especially when they reach at the top of their careers within the white establishment, and the extent to which they want to go in protecting the interests of the white man, even at the expense of their own race, at the expense of their own group. So we want to listen to what the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, David Lammy, said.
Information at home and abroad to sow disorder. Mr. President, I speak not only as a Briton, as a Londoner, and as a Foreign Secretary, but I say to the Russian representative on his phone as I speak, that I stand here also as a black man whose ancestors were taken in chains from Africa at the barrel of a gun to be enslaved, whose ancestors rose up and fought in a great rebellion of the enslaved. Imperialism, I know it when I see it, and I will call it out for what it is. In this week, when I'm here talking to other partners around the world about our shared futures and the future of the UN, Russia is trying to return us to a world of the past, a world of imperialism, a world of redrawing borders by force, a world without the UN Charter. We cannot allow this to happen. Ukraine's fight matters to all of us. The UK will remain Ukraine's staunchest supporter, because, Mr. President, these are the stakes. If we let an imperialist redraw borders by force, those will not be the last borders to be redrawn. If we let an imperialist deny a nation its path, Ukraine will not be the last state to be subjected. Maduro will take encouragement and go for Guyana next. So let me be clear, we want peace in Ukraine. We want it for the Ukrainian people. As President Zelensky has said, it must be a peace that respects the fundamental principles that underpin the United Nations.
So these are the remarks. And of course, I really find the remarks embarrassing. I really find these remarks very embarrassing on behalf of the black people. The things he said, they are not true. He's painting a lot of lies, and worst of all, on the international stage, and he's a black man, and this is extremely dangerous. What David Lammy is doing on the international stage is very dangerous. I would like to say that it was some sort of embarrassment to not only the African people, but it is dangerous in itself, and it assumes that the rest of the world doesn't know what is going on. All right. So the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, David Lammy, we see that he's a black man, but for him to come and talk about imperialism and point it to Russia and talk about slavery, when he was, enslaved, his ancestors, or our ancestors, were enslaved by the same country that he is representing at the United Nations Security Council. I mean, it becomes very laughable and very embarrassing for the African people, for all the black people actually across the world. This, to pin it on Russia, I mean, it is beyond embarrassing. All right? It is beyond embarrassing. He was speaking this at the United Nations Council. It also shows how the imperialist countries are out of touch with the reality. Because the United Nations Security Council, when it is sitting these days, we are not in the 60s where these sittings are hidden somewhere. These days the sittings are happening and we are watching them. The whole world is watching them. So for the Secretary of State to come out and paint the lies, it is contrary to history. It speaks contrary to history, because we know that Russia was one of those powers which helped us to fight imperialism. And Lammy and the country he represents, which is Britain, they are still continuing their imperialist activities across the world. They participated in the attack on Iraq. They participated in the attack on Afghanistan. All of them, the NATO countries. These are the imperialistic countries. So to leave all these in Libya, where even Trump came out and said that they are in Libya, they are in Syria, and they want to take the oil. They are keeping the oil. Absolute broad daylight. So I think that Lammy, I don't know whether he's trying to fool the world. These imperialistic countries are trying to fool the world. But it also shows how a black man, how low he can go. How a black person also, how low this person can go just to sell out. All right? And Lammy doesn't know, but he's embarrassing the whole black race across the world. And to some extent, actually, we may have to go to Russia to sort of apologize. We have now, he has given us a task as black people of apologizing to Russia across the world. Okay, because Russia is a country which participated in the anti-colonial struggle. Lammy, he has not said any fact about this. All right, so he has given us a big job. The fact that it is a black man who's saying these kind of things, which are uncoordinated, which are untrue. It is a black man who's painting, who's pushing imperialist lies like this. And it is interesting that even the people he's sitting in front of looked at him. I mean, the people at the back, they were sort of shocked. And I don't know whether it is Lammy who wrote this book, who wrote this speech himself. But even the people who were sitting at the back, who are white people, they themselves, they looked uncomfortable with the way he was painting. But in himself, it looks embarrassing even before the whole Security Council when he's saying these things. And I think that Britain is embarrassing itself. Britain is just embarrassing itself completely. And it is disgusting even for them to think that the world is not watching all these things that are happening at these meetings at the United Nations Security Council, where these remarks were made. And of course, you can justify it and say whatever you want, that you want to protect, you want to protect Ukraine, whatever, you are supporting Ukraine. But for Britain now to start bringing in the issue of slavery when they have not even paid, the reparations to the African people who were colonized, for Britain to start using slavery for its own, imperialist objectives at the United Nations Security Council, I think that Britain needs to be sued. We as black people, we need to come together to sue Britain, because this is unacceptable. It is unacceptable, completely unacceptable. This is unacceptable to the African community globally, for Britain to use, the pain which it inflicted on the black people, which is still existent due to the fact that it has not paid the reparations to the African people. For it to use this, it is an insult to the African people. It has not paid. This is a country which has not paid the reparations. All right? It is an insult to the African people. It is an insult to the black people globally. So I think that the Secretary of Foreign Affairs of Britain, David Lammy, needs to withdraw these remarks which he used. If he wants to justify, if Britain wants to justify its support for Ukraine, which we know that imperialist support, okay, it is provocation which has been going on since 1990, which many sane analysts like John Mearsheimer have come out to, to point out and to educate the world on, for Britain to use these imperialist objectives and then, to push these imperialist objectives using the pain of the black people, which pain it has not played a part in ameliorating. Speaking of even San Domingo, when the blacks wanted to liberate themselves in San Domingo, Britain wanted to put them back in slavery. Britain wanted to put them back in slavery. In Africa itself, Britain killed many people. In Kenya, the Mau Mau killed many people. It was the Russians who helped. In Rhodesia, Britain supported Ian Smith in killing the black people in present-day Zimbabwe. All right? In Ghana, in all these countries, Britain contributed to the exploitation. So, for Lammy, for the Secretary of Foreign Affairs of Britain to sit there and pretend as if the world doesn't know what is happening, it is a laughable affair. It is a laughable affair. And I think that Britain and Lammy, whatever he's doing, his coonery, both need to repent. They need to apologize to the black people globally. And of course, you can put him in the same picture of Linda Thomas at the United Nations, where she said that Africa getting veto powers at the United Nations. These are black people. These are black people, and she had to be rebuked by Dr. Chiombori Kwao during her recent interview with Al Jazeera. Linda Thomas, a black person, a person of African descent, said that giving Africa veto power at the United Nations, it will disorganize the United Nations. It will disorganize the Security Council. The Security Council has been disorganized. It has been attacking. They have been using veto power, recklessly, irresponsibly, attacking Iraq, attacking Afghanistan, attacking, Vietnam, attacking Libya, attacking, Syria, attacking Somalia. All these countries have been attacked. Veto power has been misused in all these cases, and wars have been started, and millions of people have been killed. Africa was not there. So how can a person of black descent, disrespect Africa to this extent? And I'm talking about Linda Thomas. And of course, we can talk about even General Michael Langley, who is the commander of Africa Command, United States Africa Command. These are all black people. So it turns out now that the black people, they have sold out and they are comfortable participating in a system which oppressed us. Okay? For a long time. They are comfortable now participating and carrying out the operation with the declared enemy of the African people, who is European imperialism and Western imperialism. It turns out that they are comfortable, that the gains, the personal gains they are getting from this system, now they have made them very comfortable to the extent now that they have started even disrespecting the African people. And I think that Britain and its Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Lammy, need to withdraw these remarks. They completely need to withdraw these remarks, which are uncalled for and they are disrespectful to the African people. But what do you think? My name is Kwame Gonza and the channel is called Connect Africa and Africa Reimagined. What do you think that we should do about it? What do you think that should happen? What do you think about the remarks of Lammy, of him using slavery and colonialism to push it on Russia, yet he is representing a country which has not apologized and has not paid reparations to the African people? Once again, my name is Kwame Gonza, and I thank you very much for participating in this particular broadcast. And please stay with us once more and support the channel. Don't forget to support the channel. And also go out there to our Rambo platform. You have seen that the Pan-African platforms in many cases are being blocked on YouTube because this is an imperialist platform. So they are being blocked. Therefore, go out there to Rambo and support us. Rambo, we are present there and we are broadcasting in there. Please go out and support us in all ways. By all means, go out there and support us so that we can continue to serve the continent until we liberate the African continent from Western imperialism and European imperialism in particular. So continue to support us, and also support us in our PayPal account, and give us a super chat, give us a super sticker, support us with some super stickers, so that we can continue to do this noble work that was left to us as we contribute and as we build on the foundation that was built by our ancestors, and unlike Lammy, so that we can continue to liberate our people all over across the world. Thank you so much once again, and my name is Kwame Goza, and the platform is called Connect Africa and Africa Reimagined. Thank you so much, and God bless you all. Thank you.